Alright everyone, welcome to another Confrontation video. Today's Confrontation video is going to be on Cody the Dark Hog. Cody the Dark Hog is a Sonic content creator. Yeah, I know, another Sonic content creator. This one's slightly different. We were approached by a 15-year-old girl, and she basically stated that Cody had attempted to groom her. He said to her, basically in no other terms, when you're 18, maybe we can date. So we confronted him about it, and we confronted him about other things as well. Apparently, somebody had joined the server where this happened, and they decided to send a bunch of naked imagery. Obviously, there were children in this server, so that person was promptly removed. Allegedly. I believe they were allegedly removed right away. I could be wrong, though. But what I will say is the images that were sent were believed to be of somebody who was over the age of 18. It is now up in the air about whether or not this person in the photographs was 17 or 18 at the time. But again, the question remains, why would you send a bunch of images of a naked girl in a chat with a bunch of children in an attempt to get back at her? It is revealed in other recordings. If you go over to NinjaGodot's channel, he's going to have some videos over there for you to watch that are going to show you some of the aftermath. It's going to reveal the guy who sent the images, as well as the people who were involved. There's a lot of them who saw what Cody was doing and just kind of said, no fucking way, I'm out, and just dipped. So the confrontation goes pretty well. He confesses right away, and he does say a lot of stuff. The problem is, the confrontation makes this look like it all went fucking swimmingly. It really didn't. There were hours upon hours afterwards where it did not go swimmingly at all. So stay tuned for more. But without further ado, let's see him confess, shall we?
Yeah, life is good. Yo, what's up, Cody? How you doing, man?
I'm all right. Just worried about one of my neighbors.
Worried
Had
about? I'm sorry, my phone cut out. Worried about
worried
what?
about worried about one of my neighbors. I just had to call the 911 for him again for the
Oh, what happened?
third or fourth time this month. He started throwing up. Has indigestion. Has body pains.
Let's see. Can you hear me very clearly?
Slightly heavily. What?
Can you hear me very clearly?
Oh yeah, I can definitely hear you,
Okay.
man.
Rev, you
So
can hear me,
again, I
right?
asked, what the
Yeah, I
fuck
can
is
hear
this
you just
about?
fine.
All right. So I just
Mhm.
so some stuff has kind of came up, and I just wanted to ask you some questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
It's okay. So I guess where I kind of want to start is you know, we kind of do our things that we do, like Rev and I, and we
Yeah.
try to do the best that we can to help other people that have been kind of like problematic for the community. So
Right.
I guess I kind of just wanted to get your insight on it. So we
Okay.
do. So I guess I wanted to ask, like, what's your insight on pedophilia? How do you feel about it?
I despise it with a fucking passion. Why though? Why is this now coming up?
Well, Well, I mean, I just kind of wanted to know if that was the case, because like I've heard some people say that like that they despise pedophilia, or that they're kind of whatever about it, or that some people
Right.
believe that predators can be reformed. So I just wanted to see what your insight was on this.
I mean, honestly, they can be if they choose or want to be reformed. But all in all,
How
I
do you think?
still fucking hate it with a passion.
How would they go about doing that, you think?
For one, proven to the people that for okay, how the fuck should I explain this?
It's okay. Just take a deep breath, mate. We got all night, so we're good.
All right. Oh shit! Excuse me. Fucking hell! Hold on, I'm having trouble with my fucking remote app here. Let me exit out of the Roku app real quick and then
Oh yeah.
re-enter.
By the way, make sure that whoever you called the ambulance for is okay. But anyway,
I
back to what
did.
I was saying.
I did. He's hopefully he'll be fine over there too.
All right, good. Okay, so like, what ways do you think that a predator can be reformed?
Well, for one, majorly proven to us that they can or want to be reformed, and showing screenshots of proof of the people that they've groomed or shit like that, and showing us screenshots that they've deleted all chats or DMs with them and cut all contact with them.
Okay, I can
Like
kind of
say putting them in their
see.
block list or shit like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, typically people do that. What do you think should happen to predators if they get caught?
But they should be fucking stoned, man. And I don't mean in the way of as to get high. I mean like literally fucking stoned.
Yeah, most people believe that they should be castrated or killed or put in prison. That kind of
I
stuff.
wouldn't say go as far as having them killed, but I would go as far as having them fucking castrated and cut their fucking dicks off.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So I'm sure that Overdrive has kind of been talking to you about like me basically trying to figure out what's going on. And if you're wondering about that, I'll explain. So there's a
I'm kind of
user.
confused because I don't remember what was happening. So elaborate for me, please.
Oh, that I was just about to get to that. I appreciate you asking. So
Turn you off then.
no, you're totally fine. So
All right.
this individual who goes by the username Sora281125. Does that name sound familiar to you?
Oh, I know who the fuck you are talking about. That's my friend Mari.
That's your friend Mari. Oh, so you know this person.
I sure as fuck do. I don't know
So
him
are
in
you
real life.
aware?
I know him as his handle, Mari, online.
Okay. Okay. So are you aware of what Mari did?
Yes, now that you mention it, I am very much aware of what he did. It was in one of my old servers. I had to fucking delete it too.
Okay. So can you
Because of
elaborate what
that.
he did?
What I remember he posted nudes of my two of my friends on Twitter. Suppose.
Two of your friends.
My friend Alistair, this is his handle name. He hates his real life name, so I call him Alistair. And his now fiance Cherry.
Wait, how old is Alistair?
He's about 26, 27. She's like 20 years old, so she's like 6, 7 years younger than him.
Wait, so okay, so the nudes of the girl that were posted in that server, she was 20 years old.
No,
That's the
at the
girl.
time she was like 16, 17. But she is 20 as of yesterday, 2 days ago.
How do you feel about Mari posting those nudes in that server?
Honestly, it pissed me off. Sorry if I'm stopping in between words. I'm eating fucking chocolate. Like I'm
No,
stressed
I
eating fucking
understand.
chocolate right now.
Well, try not to stress eat because you definitely don't want to break out in sores or anything, especially with
Oh,
chocolate.
I know. It's just I'm only stressed now because I'm worried about my pops.
I understand. So just kind of relax a little bit. It's totally fine. Okay. So Sora, the person that you were talking about, the guy that's named Mari.
Yeah.
Do you know? Can you tell me anything about Mari that you might know of? You said that you were pretty close to them, right?
I wouldn't say that, but I guess I am still kind of his friend, if you get what I'm saying.
Kind of his friend. Is this despite the fact that he posted pictures of the 17-year-old in question in the server that ended up getting bombarded?
Hold up. At the time, she was 16 or 17 when she had those taken of herself.
Right. I understand.
But she's
But
20 years old as of recently.
I don't think that matters. I think it depends on when the picture was taken, and if the picture was taken when she was 17, they are legally classed as CP.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's the point I was about to get to, because I was about to say the issue that she's 20 or 25 or 30 or 35, it doesn't matter.
No.
Because if that girl was 17 at the time that her pictures that she took those pictures, then the fact that Mari has possession of those pictures would mean that he is actually holding child pornography.
Mm.
And that child pornography was posted in that server where, if I'm not mistaken, there are a bunch of children that are present, no?
There was two kids there. One's just turned 17, one's 15 years old. Y'all remember Coco?
Right. You remember who?
Do y'all remember Coco, Miss Coco?
Well, I mean, I've heard the name, but I don't know.
DNA should know who I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, regardless of that, okay, so you only have 2 minors in that server?
Yes, I did have 2 minors in that server. Until I deleted it.
So those are the only 2 minors that were actually exposed to the pictures and everything.
Yes.
Okay. So so now that you know that Mari is in possession of this child pornography and he has posted this stuff in the server with children, what do you plan on doing about that?
Honestly, I don't want to get involved with that. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, though, but I don't want. I know he's in the wrong for having those, but his friendship matters to me too.
So you'd still be friends with this person regardless of him having possession of CP and sending it in your server?
I honestly, I know when I'm saying it, the way I'm wording it sounds like I would, but knowing this, in reality, I would actually distance myself from him until I fully stop talking to him permanently,
Well, just a second ago, you said that you treasure his friendship the most. So I'm a little bit confused.
But let me rephrase that. I did treasure his friendship.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what about him? Okay, so might I make a suggestion for you? If this is kind of a problem, or if it's an issue and you know this person, wouldn't it be better to get a hold of his jurisdiction and call the police?
You do make a good point.
Because the thing is, okay, it's one thing if he has pictures of a 17-year-old. It's another thing if he is soliciting those images into a public server, mostly contained with adults,
Legally classed
and
as
2 children.
distribution.
Yeah, that's another charge on top of that. Distribution of child pornography, as well as having possession of it.
Both separate felonies.
Yes. Noted.
I don't know what kind of weird
You all right,
ritual is
Cody?
going on right now.
Yeah, I'm alright. Sorry, I'm just distracted by my TV at the same damn time.
Well, this is kind of important, so I would appreciate it if you
I
could
know,
actually listen to us.
I'm filtering out the TV now.
Because you and I are cool. We've had our moments. Like I know it's like few and far between, but like we've had our moments. I would just appreciate it if you could give a little bit of time to this because this is very important. So this Mari person, the Sora 281125 user on Discord, would it not be fair to actually make a police report on what he's done? Because it's one thing that he possesses CP in the first place, but it's a completely another thing when he drops those pictures into a server with adults and children where they can see it. I would think that that would be a high priority issue.
Very much so.
Right? So do you okay? So do you believe that this person can be reformed?
Oh, definitely.
You think so?
Before, I thought you reported that. I don't really know.
No. Well, reported, yes. Performed, you're not so sure. Well, earlier you said that they would be reformed.
I hate to prove it to us, you know?
Well, in one breath he said they could
That
be
I understand.
reformed, in the other breath he said they should be stoned.
All right. So yeah, that's kind of a good point, Cody. I'm gonna have to be just a teeny bit aggressive with you on this. I'm gonna need you to have to pick a side because unfortunately, either they get reformed or they should be stoned. You can't have. It's obviously a contradiction. So do you believe that they should be stoned, or do you believe that they can be reformed?
Honestly, being fair, I think they should be stoned.
See, interesting. Okay. So, all right. So you obviously okay. So with that in mind, you obviously believe that this Mari person should be obviously stoned, aka they should be reported to the police.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right. I can kind of vibe with that. Like I said, there's people that
You keep cutting out, man.
Yeah, he does.
I know I keep cutting out. My signal's kind of bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Okay. So, all right, Cody. So now that I asked you these questions, let's play some devil's advocate real quick. Okay. So
Okay.
let's say in this totally 100% scenario, let's say that you were caught doing something that you weren't supposed to do. And let's say that it would be something in regards to the subject matter that we are talking about. Would you still agree that you should be stoned, or would you say that you can be reformed?
I'm still sticking with the stone thing because that's honestly unforgivable.
Okay. All right, Cody. So, in this hypothetical, say that there was a person. All right, let me give another scenario with this. Say that there was a person that was underage, and this other person was obviously overage. They talk as friends, they're normal talking and everything. And everything works out smoothly with that, and it's totally fine. Adults talk to kids, kids talk to adults all the time. That's been a thing that's been happening for generations, and that's obviously a normal thing. But what if in this scenario, the adult gauges the child to date them when they become of age? What would your response be then?
If they wait for them to become of age, then that's not really pedophilia. That's
Child grooming.
an age of an adult, Like 18 is considered adult age, if I'm not mistaken, right?
You do know what child grooming is, though, don't you?
Say what?
You do know what child grooming is, though, don't you?
Yes and no. I'm still kind of new to all that.
Okay. Well, child grooming would be
Press.
saying to a child, let's wait until you're 18 before we date. That would be the implication that you were grooming the child to then date you
Okay,
as soon as
okay,
they
okay.
become of age. That would be child grooming.
Right.
Thanks for clarifying that for me.
Right. Which in most states, most people would consider that. Well, not even really most states. Every state really would consider something like that as a crime anyway. Uh, okay. So, just out of curiosity, Cody, what state do you live in?
I'm in Louisiana.
You live in Louisiana?
I sure do.
Okay. All
My
right.
home state,
Um,
been home and raised, born and raised, man.
all right. So, tell me a little bit about Louisiana. How are you liking it?
Well, I love it. Don't get me wrong, it's my home state and all. But there's some parts of Louisiana that's just utterly trash and like fucked up, if you catch my drift.
Mm, okay. All right.
Hey,
So,
what I don't really like the most is the New Orleans area is fucking voodoo central.
okay. I can understand how you feel about that. So, so here's the reason why I'm asking you about this. These hypothetical scenarios that I have presented you, they're not exactly hypothetical. They are real situations that happened.
Right.
And these real situations, as Rev has described, is what you would consider child grooming, the thing that you don't know about anything about. So this is the thing. This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, Cody. Have you been having any conversations with minors as of late?
Yes, but hear me out. I don't talk sexual to them or nothing because that's just
All right.
fucked up right there in itself.
Okay. So what kind of conversations did you have with a minor?
I talk to them normally. I say, hey, what's up? How's it going? How's your day? Shit like that.
Okay. Any other conversations?
Uh, trying to remember here. Like, we'll start talking about video games and shit too, like me and Coco do.
Okay. So I can see like that kind of talking being okay. Like adults and kids talk about video games and school and college stuff all the time. It's a
Yes,
perfectly
we
normal
talk about that
conversation to
stuff
have.
too. School and college.
Yeah.
Which honestly,
So
myself, I never went to college. I couldn't really afford to go to college.
most people can't, and unless you know what you're doing, college is kind of a waste of fucking time anyway. But that's besides the
Okay,
point.
plus you just relearned the shit you've learned in normal school. So what the fuck is the point with that too?
Well, most people know what grooming is by the age of 13 or 14, but I mean that typically doesn't happen with so many people. Sometimes the horse finishes the race last. So again, now I'm going to go back to this other conversation. What other conversations have you had with any kind of children in your server?
Like how they've been doing in school, shit like that. And if they plan on going to college,
What about asking a child to wait for them until they turn 18? Anything like that ring a bell?
I do remember asking Coco about when she turns like 18 or so, but that's the
Why would you?
only thing I've done.
All right, so can I ask the obvious question here that Rev pretty much knows what I'm about to ask? right? Why would you be having this conversation with?
To be honest, I don't really know my damn self. It's
Is
just
there
something that
something?
happened, you know? It's just something that
But
freaking
how?
happened.
Okay, but how did it happen though? How did it get to that point in the conversation?
Talk about exes and shit like that and breakups and stuff.
Right. So
And how
y'all
and
two were
how
having. So you and this individual, and I would appreciate it if the individual's name not be spoken. So if you and this individual had this conversation, and suddenly the conversation went from, can you, if you become 18, then would there possibly be a chance to date? Why would that conversation transpire in the first place?
like I said before, I had no damn clue. Like it just fucking happened.
Do you think that's an appropriate
Well,
thing to say to a 15-year-old?
you with me, Cody? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out what the fuck Rev was just trying to say.
Right. Rev asked if this conversation is appropriate to have with a 15-year-old girl or boy for that matter.
You know what? No, not that. Now that I think of it, I don't think it would be.
Right. Just out of how old are you, Cody?
25, gonna be 26 in September.
Right. So you just freshly turned 25. Cody, do you know why I asked you about where you live?
I can kind of get a clue, but fill me in.
Okay. Indecent behavior with juveniles is the commission of any of the following acts with intention of arousing or gratifying the sexual desires of either person. Any lewd or lascivious act upon the person or in the presence of any child under the age of 17, where there is an age difference of greater than 2 years between the two persons. Lack of knowledge of the child's age shall not be a defense, or the transmission, delivery, or utterance of any textual, visual, written, or oral communication depicting lewd or lascivious conduct, text, words, or images to any person reasonably believed to be under the age of 17 and reasonably believed to be at least 2 years younger than the offender. It shall not be a defense that the person who actually receives the transmission is not under the age of 17. For purposes of this section, textual, written, visual, or oral communication means any communication of any kind, whether electronic or otherwise, made through the use of a United States mail, any private carrier, personal carrier, computer online service, local bulletin board, internet chat room, electronic mail, online messaging service, or personal delivery of contents. Now, the stuff that I just read here to you is indecent behavior with juveniles, which is what we would classify as child grooming. So this is why I wanted to
Okay, then.
look up this is why I wanted to look up the laws that revolve around your state. So I'm going to go ahead and read. So I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. Whoever commits the crime of indecent behavior with juveniles on a victim under the age of 13 when the offender is 17 years of age or older shall be punished by imprisonment at hard labor for no less than 2 or more than 25 years. At least 2 years of the sentence imposed shall be served without benefit of parole, probation, or suspension of sentence. Now, the important thing to point out here is that it says here the age of 13, and then obviously the offender is 17 years of age or older. The issue that we are faced with here is that the individual is 15 years old and the offender is 25. Rev, what would you classify that as?
Child grooming.
Child grooming. Okay. So now I'm going to turn to you once again, Cody. Do you believe that you can be reformed, or do you believe that you can be stoned?
I believe I could be stoned. But hear me out on this one. I never talked sexually or in any type of manner like that to Coco. Well, I'm sorry, the individual.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. By the way,
Yes. Yeah, I had to correct
sexual.
myself.
Well, it's fine. Well, what I just stated here is that there didn't need to be a sexual or lascivious conversation to take place. There were other things that were proposed on this law that I just read to you as well, which, as Rev pointed
Okay.
out, would be considered child grooming.
Grooming a
So no
child to
sexual.
date.
Yes. So
See,
sexual conversations do not.
I didn't realize that. That's my bad
Okay.
on that part.
Right. So sexual conversations don't need to take place with that. However, to gauge a child to save their pureness until they're 18 by an adult would technically, no, not even technically, would actually be considered child grooming, because that would mean that you would have the promise of doing adult things together when the child is an adult. So to groom that child into having those thoughts or harboring them, well, I mean, it speaks for itself. That would be child grooming.
Okay, then. See, I'm starting to get more of an understanding on this now. Thank you for clarifying all this for me.
Okay. So,
See,
here.
hear me out. I have trouble
Okay.
processing stuff a lot, and it takes me like a minute or two to kind of for it to fucking hit in my mind, like and realize what the fuck's going on.
So do you think you not knowing that law is a justification for why you get to violate that law?
What did he say?
Repeat the question again, Rev.
He's speaking really low for me on my end, and I got my volume all the way up.
Do you believe that your lack of knowledge of this law means that you get to violate said law without punishment?
Oh no, definitely not.
Okay.
All right. You know what? He might be the first. He might be the first to be saying this stuff. Okay. So gives me a little bit of hope for humanity. Okay.
Well, thanks.
So
I
if you
appreciate that.
well, of course. So all right. So now we're going to go to the other things that while you do agree with that, I'm happy to hear that. Now we're going to face some contradictions. So now we're going to jump back. Now we're going to jump back to Sora, because now that we have this logic, now we're going to tackle this with Sora. So you do not value their friendship, right?
Not anymore, no.
Not anymore. Now that you've had this explained.
Yes.
Okay. So what should happen to Mari since he has these pictures that he dropped in front of minors?
Honest to God, he should be fucking stoned.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty open and shut. There is another issue that I have with this, and Rev, you can probably help me out with like closing this, because in all honesty, I really don't know how to.
Mhm.
So here's the issue. If you believe in these things, if you do believe that these laws are tactful, if you do believe that, obviously the individual in question has been groomed, by your hands, I do have another serious question that I have to ask. If you believe these things, this is a big one, okay? There is a 17-year-old girl that is in your server right now as we speak. Are you aware that she's been dating a 20-year-old or older person?
No, I am not.
Okay, well, the reason why I find great difficulty in believing what you're saying when it comes to that is because it is written on her profile that she is dating someone in her 20s.
So surely
And yet she is 17.
she must have received the server invite, and you must have been able to at least see the bio.
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking at her bio right now. I'm just now noticing what it's saying.
Okay. All right, interesting. So now I have another question to ask. If you are now noticing what it's saying, then why did you feel the need to tell the 17-year-old that the individual in question that she has a crush on is 15?
Honestly,
Because
it just
technically, well, go ahead, go ahead, go
what?
ahead.
No, you go ahead first. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, all right, the elephant in the room is the 25-year-old telling the 15-year-old to wait until they're 18 to start dating them. But the main
Yeah.
issue is no such thing should take place when it comes to a 17-year-old wanting to date a 15-year-old, which that makes perfect sense. So why would you feel the need to tell the 17-year-old that the 15-year-old is in fact 15? What's wrong with that?
Honestly, that was just a force of habit.
It was a. What do
But
you
why
mean
do you
it?
feel the need?
What do you mean it was a force of habit? Has this happened more than once?
Yeah, with other people though, like someone like a little bit older than me.
So this hasn't happened with other minors before.
No.
Okay, just this once though.
Yeah, just this once.
Right, one time too many, Cody.
Understandable.
So do you not see any issues with this?
With what I said, yes. With what he had said, not really.
So if the minor had agreed to this agreement that you had set out in front of her, and we hadn't stepped in, where do you think you would be right now?
Might be in fucking jail or worse.
But you understand this is still a crime. This is still criminal activity.
Yes, I do. At least I do now.
Okay. So where do we go from here, Cody?
Starters. Oh, what the fuck was I gonna say? Damn train of thought. I fucking hate this shit.
Pretty convenient.
Mm.
Fuck. My train of thought. I'm sorry. What was I gonna say? Oh, for starters, I should apologize to the 15-year-old for what I said.
Well, a little more should happen than that, I think, actually.
Well, other than that,
Would you be willing to okay. So would you be willing to report yourself to the authorities for what you did?
well, yeah.
You really would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rev, I gotta get dollies and stuff. You go ahead and take over. I think you already know what to do, don't you?
Well, I mean, do you know what's going to happen when you call the police and you tell them this?
Most likely, I'd get arrested.
Because obviously my priority is the 15-year-old girl that was very almost seriously groomed for the next 3 years because of this behavior. If we hadn't stepped in, this 15-year-old girl was likely going to be groomed for the next 3 years of her life. And it would potentially escalate. Because by the time she would be 18, you would be 28 years old. So if you are willing to
That's
hand
true.
yourself into the authorities, I suggest you do that right now.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
Do you believe that the people in your server have a right to know this information, that you had attempted to do this right under their nose?
Honestly, yeah.
Yes. So who's going to tell them? Are you going to tell them?
I will I will tell them yes.
Will you?
Yes.
Well, I'll be waiting to see if that is the case. And I'm sure
Huh?
Godot would love to see if that was the case as well.
Now, I know that a lot has happened. I know that a lot has taken place. And I know that you're feeling a little bit I'm,
I also feel really
more
guilty, to be honest with you.
more or less I'm proud of you for at the very least admitting that what you did
Was
admitting
wrong.
what you did and then admitting what you did was wrong. Yes, I am very happy that you did that. I know it's a lot to process. I know that
It
you're
honestly
going through a
is.
lot right now. Well, hold on, let me talk.
Okay, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
know that it's okay. I know it's a lot to process. I know it's a lot to deal with. And I understand that you are going through something pretty tough right now with somebody that's, going in the hospital and everything. So I'm
Yeah.
willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. So here are my demands. If you
Mm-hmm.
are willing to if you are willing to keep your word and you are willing to do what is right, then I would expect I'll give you 3 days to process this. In these
Okay.
3 days, during these 3 days, I need to see that you have made a public announcement in regards to what you have said to the minor in question. And I want everybody in your server to see that.
Okay.
Are you willing to do that for me?
I sure am.
Okay. So I'll give you 3 days to process this because I know you're going through a lot. But 3 days puts us at what? 3 days puts us at what, Rev? Tuesday?
For you,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, yeah, for me, yeah, technically Tuesday going into Wednesday because it's going to become Sunday pretty soon. Okay. So I'll give you 3 days to do this. If you can send me a picture of you telling everybody in your server what you did, I would actually really appreciate it.
All
In
right.
that same breath though, I do want you to contact the authorities and I would love for you to also tell them what you did. Okay? I know it's tough. I know it's really difficult. It's even harder when you confess to doing something that is pretty damn bad.
Yes.
And as you know, Rev and I have dealt with certain people for a very long time, people who have annoyed the fuck out of us, people who have pissed us off, because when the truth is in front of them, they want to deny it. But I would like to believe that you're different. And so far, you have shown yourself to be a little bit different. But now I want to see some action. So,
All right.
again, so here it is. Tell everybody in your server, I want you to tag everybody what you did. You do not tag the 15-year-old girl. Do not tag her name. You need to tell everybody what you did.
Okay.
In that same breath, when you do this, I want you to call the police. I want you to report yourself to what you've done. Be the first person that makes a difference. Be the first person that stands out. Don't be like these other people. Be somebody that takes responsibility for their actions. You do that
Okay.
for me, Cody?
I sure can.
All right. As Rev said, we will await this.
We will
We will
indeed.
await your word.
Okay.
All right. That's all that as far as that's concerned, that's all I got, Rev. You got anything?
I don't have anything else, no.
All right, Cody. Carry on. You have yourself a good night. I will expect to hear from you in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. I'll see you later.
Alright, so that was Cody the Dark Hog's confession. Pretty cut and dry. He admitted that he attempted to groom this child. He'd also said stuff about he didn't know what grooming was. It is later revealed, if you go and watch NinjaGodot's recordings, that indeed he did know what grooming was because he'd spoken to people about child grooming before, because there were many people he was friends with who were victims of child grooming, so he knew exactly what it was. He waited for this girl to be alone in a VC, in a server, to pop the question, basically, and expected this girl not to go out of her way and talk about it, which I find really quite bizarre. So I think really what is safe to say is Cody is a very dangerous person. He, over the last couple of hours, I'm recording this on the day of the confrontation, he has basically been running his mouth, running around, being very aggressive with people, proclaiming that he doesn't have time for this, all the rest of it. So like I said, the confrontation kind of reveals him as an honest person. He is quite literally everything, but he is already backtracking. It was revealed to me and NinjaGodot that he had people that were helping him on the inside. Those people's discords are actively being looked at. But he did add 2 people to his server in an attempt to wipe it, and it is believed his server at this current moment in time, on the 19th of January, is just completely wiped. There's not very much in there anymore. He handed ownership over to somebody else, they wiped it, and then he got it back. So I don't believe this is the last we're going to see of Cody. I don't believe that this is going to be the last that anybody is going to see of Cody, and I do believe that Cody is going to attempt to do this again. So all I would say is if you see Cody the Dark Hog, you'll recognize him because he posts his face quite frequently, kind of to his own downfall. He also had his, which was quite staggering to me, he also had his real life name as his Discord handle. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to these people, they're not very smart. Child groomers wonder how they got caught, and this is how they get caught. They get caught by being fucking moronic, and they expect people like me not to take this shit seriously, especially when CP is mentioned, which we should all take very seriously. So I'm glad that I say I'm glad I've got a confrontation video, but in reality, I wish I didn't have to make these. I wish I didn't, I'd rather do something else with my life than talk to child predators, but here we are. One at a time, folks, one at a time. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Please be vigilant about Cody the Dark Hog, because he is very neurotic and dangerous.